Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another match reaction. FC Porto versus Barcelona. Let's get into it. But before we go and we talk about it, guys, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Everything is posted down below in the descriptions. Everything is at Kool-Aid Podcast. We're also on Twitch, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. All of our longer formatted videos are on there. So guys, make sure to go over there to tune everything out. But also, guys, if you guys want to join and give your thoughts about the game and just basically join in the conversation, just go on my Twitter page at Holy Podcast. Just click on the link that I posted, and then you'll be able to join. But guys, let's talk about the FC Porto versus Barcelona game because it's wild and there's a lot to talk about. But let's first start with Barcelona's lineup, and then we'll go from there. You had Ter Stegen in goal. You had Cancelo, Araujo, Kunde, and Balde in the defense. Christensen was dropped. It was actually a bold move from Xavi because we do know that Araujo, he was rested for that game against Sevilla, but he did play against Mallorca. He didn't have like the best performance in that game, but it did turn out to they turn out in Xavi's favor later in the half. You had Gavi, or Romeo, and Gundogan in the midfield, and up top you had Lamine Yamal, Robert Lewandowski, and Joao Felix lining up in the attack. So let's start off with talking about each player individually, and then I'll give my overall thoughts on the performance because there's a lot to say. Ter Stegen, I thought that he was. I would say it was a good performance from Ter Stegen. He was able to get some good tackles in. I mean, some good saves. What am I talking about? I was thinking about Kunde. And some good saves, and there were a couple dangerous opportunities from Porto. Galeno with a couple good shots. Wendell bursting through. He gave some good saves, some good blocks. I wouldn't say it was the most brilliant of games, but he was there when called upon, and I believe that he did his job. But we talk about the defense. This is where the defense shines, and this is like our key area to focus on because the partnership of both Araujo and Kunde has been phenomenal, guys. In this game, they were tested so much. You had well, at first, our defense was an absolute mess, but the individual brilliances of both of these two center backs made that up. Barcelona were constantly being attacked. Both through Taremi, Romario, and Galeno. You had Pepe coming in behind. It made Barcelona's defense an absolute nightmare. And just so you guys can know, Barcelona, they did not play well in this game. Porto, I thought, were dominant throughout basically the entirety of the match. Even though we had possession, the best chances fell to Porto, and it wasn't like they were getting like 1-2 chances like per half. No, they were getting multiple chances in consecutive order throughout the entirety of the game. Porto were very dangerous. And if you're a Porto fan, you come out of this game thinking, hey, the game was there for the taking. Barcelona, they were not brilliant whatsoever. We could have beat them at home, and we could have been basically leading the group, but it is not. It is Barcelona, as you guys can see. They are topping Group H at the moment with 6 points. You have Porto in second with 3, and Shakhtar Donetsk with 3 as well after beating Royal Antwerp 3-2 yesterday. But thankfully, Barcelona, they did get the goal through Ferran Torres, and this is because Robert Lewandowski, he came off in the 34th minute mark. He did get bit of a knock. I believe, it was a foul from Carmo, and so Robert Lewandowski had to come off, and then Ferran Torres, he came in, and which he later scored the goal. I believe it was, yeah, in like the basically like the last minute of the first half. It was a Romario mistake. Actually, it was a pass back to Cardosa. Just a typical pass like from your midfielder to your center back, but it didn't have enough power. It was like a scuffed pass, and Gundogan actually takes advantage of that, and basically runs at Cardosa. Ferran Torres, he makes the run as well, and it was a beautiful finish to basically make it 1-0 going into the second half. And as like I mentioned, Barcelona were fortunate to come away from Portugal only, I mean, with the victory, because you can definitely say that Barcelona, they did not deserve that, because we were called into question many times, um, and specifically on two instances. Uh, we Let me see if I can pull up the specific right here, guys. Look at this right here. Cancel handball was overturned after VAR decided there was a handball on Eustaquio first. Should Porto have been awarded a penalty here? Now, this was in the second half, a little bit later into the game. But Eustaquio right here, he basically chests it down. Well, I mean, like he brings down the ball with this part of his arm, as you guys can see right there. That is, when you're looking at it, it's shoulder slash bicep area. Um, no, that's a handball. I'm like, according to the rules, that's a handball. But this is also a handball from Cancelo. I do agree. Both of them are handballs. Just however, the Eustaquio handball came first, and that's why I agree in um that Porto, they should not have been awarded a penalty. And I agree with the referee. And talking about the referee, guys, we have to talk about Anthony Taylor's horrible performance. The amount of yellow cards he was handing out like candy. When you look at this right here, guys, are in basically five of Barcelona's players were booked. Cancelo was booked, and they were offered like tactical fouls. Araujo, Kunde, Felix. The Kunde yellow card is nonsense. He cleared the ball, but the defender actually ran into Kunde's leg. It was like a high kick, but Kunde cleared the ball. It makes no sense. Gavi actually sent off really stupidly, honestly, in the dying minutes of the game. And now we have to see how long he's going to be suspended for. And it's not a good sign, because Barcelona's midfield at the moment is absolutely down to its bare bones. You only two fit, first team midfielders are Order Romeo and Gundogan. You could potentially play Fermin Lopez in that trio of midfield, but we are nowhere near from our best lineup. You had Frankie De Jong, you have Pedri, two players who you want to be playing in that midfield. And then when you look at the attack, Robert Lewandowski, hopefully that injury is only a knock, and it has been reported it's only a knock. And so he should be fit for this weekend. I believe it's against Granada. Let me check for you guys. But yeah, it's going to be Granada away from home. So he should be fit for that game. But also you have Rafinha injured, and you don't have a lot of options that Xavi can bring on. And when you look at Barcelona's bench, look at the players that Xavi brought on. You had Ferran Torres, Fermin Lopez, Sergio Roberto, and Marcos Alonso. Two of them are players that you do not want anywhere near the squad. Um, and so when you look at our bench, wait, my apologies, guys. These are the players that we currently have at our disposal. If Barcelona have any more injuries from here on out, we do not have any other options available to us, and that's a worrying sign. But continuing talking about each player individually, guys, we have to talk about. I think the man of the match, and that's Kunde, guys. Kunde was absolutely phenomenal tonight. Kunde had, I believe, one of his best performances in a Barcelona jersey. He gave a absolutely amazing tackle against Pepe. Pepe was 1-on-1, fantastic pass. I think it was from Galeno. And he gave a perfect pass to Pepe. Pepe running down, and he was basically 1-on-1 with your Stegen. If Kunde is not there to put in that last ditch tackle, that's 1-1. That's 1-1, and Barcelona could be coming away from Portugal with a loss instead. Because at that time, when he makes that tackle, it was still extremely early into the second half. And with the way and how the second half went, I just know that Barcelona would have came out with Portugal with a loss. It's just that simple. But Kunde, absolutely phenomenal last ditch tackle. Araujo with a couple minutes later doing the same thing. Just this time, it's not a 1v1. It's still a very dangerous opportunity, but he did manage to get that tackle through. And I think Cancelo, he gave way too many balls away. It wasn't one of the most brilliant games from him. I thought Balde, he was good defensively. He had to do a lot of running, guys. He was marking Romario. He was marking Galeno, and as well as Joe Mario down on that right hand side. He was an absolute rock defensively. So props to Balde. And when you talk about the midfield, I think this was actually our weakest area. Well, apart from our attack, no, actually, our attack is like this. It's so bad. Robert Lewandowski came off, Ferran Torres came on. Joao Felix, he didn't really have much. He didn't create much. I thought Lamine Yamal was our best attacker. All of our chances went basically came through him. And it's so funny how when Dembele was at the club, we used to basically give him every single ball, and we attacked through the right hand side so many times, and we basically depended on him. But now when we have a player who's better than Dembele, we don't search for him as much, and it's a little bit frustrating to see. But now talking about the midfield, I think Gavi. It wasn't his most brilliant performance. He did start really well, but he gave you that defensive effort. He gave you that recovery work, and that red card. It's a stupid mistake from him. It's something that shouldn't be done, but still, I don't think that Gavi had a particularly poor game. Just you don't want to get sent off because then, no, looking at our squad depth at the moment, you are just limiting our options. But when you talk about Ormel and Gundogan, I don't think that they had brilliant games. Ormel, he came off in the 70th minute mark, but he made way too many mistakes. He was pressured a lot. You had Porto having 2 or 3 players go and try to pressure him, and it wasn't his most brilliant of games. I would say this is his worst performance in a Barcelona shirt, but it does make sense because he is not a Sergio Busquets replacement. He is of a completely different profile. Order is more of that destroyer, recovery type of CDM, and Busquets is more of a pivot. He his on the ball is second to none. He is so press resistant; it's almost impossible. And so, you have to play to each other's strength. Order Mel, you could definitely see the absence of both Pedri and Frankie De Jong in that midfield, but hopefully it improves. But guys, I want to know your guys' thoughts on the match. I gave my thoughts. As I said, it wasn't a brilliant Barcelona performance. Porto absolutely dominated Barcelona. Barcelona were fortunate to get the victory through a Ferran Torres goal due to a Romayo mistake. But now let's go and see what social media is saying, guys. I want to see what people are saying. But Ilkay Gundogan, man of the match. I'm guessing this is because of the assist. I don't think that he particularly deserved it. I thought Kunde he was far better. I don't think it was his brilliant game. But let's see this. Lamine Yamal left the pitch in the 71st minute against Porto to go to the toilet. Okay, we don't need to know that. Oh yeah, guys, if you guys don't know, Newcastle actually lost to PSG 4-1. And I am going to be talking about that tomorrow, basically in our UCL reaction. But the last line of defenders, this is when Kunde made that absolutely last ditch tackle. Once again, guys, when you play Kunde as a center back, you can just tell it's night and day the difference playing a player in this position can do. Who's absolutely phenomenal and absolutely huge in that position. But is it fair to say that we're still a long way from being genuine UCL contenders? I think so. I think the goal for us right now is to just basically build confidence and momentum, because I don't think that Barcelona can basically challenge for the Champions League at the moment. We're still very far away. Half our team is injured. And I agree. This is not an excuse though. A midfield of Gavi, Gundogan, and Romelu is supposed to be good enough. That's why we brought the later two. Romeo is not built for this level. The rest of the team are mentally not prepared for big UCL nights away from home. We do get the win, but it's not a very convincing performance. And if this was Newcastle beat PSG 4-1, yeah, reality, bro. That was actually crazy. I actually had that Newcastle game on my second screen, and when I was watching that, I was just saying, no way, PSG are absolutely getting smoked. But I'm here for PSG slander every single day. I'm so happy that PSG absolutely got cooked. But Lamar was sick. He was suffering from an illness. Okay, yeah, makes sense. But let's see what Barcelona defense on the way UCL night. I actually can't believe my eyes. Well, this is actually like a little bit deceiving, because even though our defense kept a clean sheet, they were exposed throughout much of the night. Just Porto absolutely caused havoc. Just at times, you basically had no support from that midfield. Order Mail, Gundogan, absolutely like chickens lost in the head, like deers lost in the headlights. But luckily, we had the individual brilliances from both of these players. absolutely made up for it. But guys, wow, Erling Haaland hasn't scored in his last 5 Champions League matches. His previous longest scoreless streak in the UCL was 2 games. He's human after all. Well, guys, let's it's still a long way to go. But yeah, Gavi is helping his team by putting his life on the line. Bellingham can never. But talking about Gavi, it was a stupid challenge from him. It was in the middle of the pitch, no real risk from there. And now with all the injuries to both Pedri, to Rafinha, to Lewa, to Frankie De Jong, we're going to be down a player. And then the next time Barcelona play in the Champions League, we're not going to have Pedri and Frankie De Jong or Gavi. And so are we going to play a midfield of Gundogan, Romeo, and Fermin Lopez? Is that what we're going to do? That's not something that you want to do. But the positives are, of course, that Barcelona are top of the group, and that's something that we have to take away from the game. Xavi Hernandez, Lamine Yamal was unwell. He had an illness. He had been telling me for a while. I took advantage of a break to tell him to be quick and go to the toilet, but in the end, they told me that he would be able to get back on the pitch. So not only did we chuck a little child onto the pitch, which is fine, but doing so when he was clearly unwell and made it known. I mean, yeah. I mean, at that point, why not start Ferran? Doesn't make much sense. But let's look at some reaction from the team. We put a lot of effort into our defense. We are strong, but there are games where we didn't perform our best. I'm very happy with the defense today. Congratulations to them. Once again, I agree that we kept a clean sheet, and that's commendable against a tough opponent in the UCL away from home. But still, we were far too open. Porto had way too many chances. As I said, if this was played on a different night, we would be coming out with a loss, because there was also that Kunde challenge on Taremi, which, hey, is it a penalty? Is it not? It's a little bit difficult. I'm happy for the win, but I feel icky though, as Gavi's got to chill with all the yellows. It was only a matter of time before he got the red. I agree, and I think that was a theme of Barcelona's game as a whole today. I think Anthony Taylor was just looking to give out a red. Barcelona were making too many tackles, and I think that was just due to Porto being so dynamic and aggressive in their play. We just couldn't cope, and so the only way we had to tackle them. But continuing looking on some quotes, this is the Champions League and it costs a lot. We won against a historic rival away from home. We have to emphasize that. Yeah. Lewandowski hopes to be back on Sunday's game. That is a positive. Hopefully that is true. It was not our best match, but it was a vital match for us. We won, but we have to play better. We will do it. We will do it. It's lonely at the top. But yeah, guys, as I mentioned, that's the theme of today's match reaction. Barcelona, they didn't play well. We got the win, and we just move on, because we just have to get better, and hopefully we see a much improved performance against Granada this weekend away from home. But guys, I want to know your guys' thoughts on the game. Did you guys enjoy Barcelona's play at all? What do you guys feel of both the Cancelo handball slash Usakio handball, and then the Taremi penalty with Kunde? Do you think that was a penalty as well? I don't think either of them are penalties. Just I want to know your guys' opinions. But guys, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, guys,